What's a common effect of drinking alcohol? Colour blindness, increased confidence, faster reactions, increased concentration.
Alcohol can increase confidence to a point where a driver's behaviour might become out of character. Someone who normally behaves sensibly might suddenly enjoy taking risks. Never let yourself or your friends get into this situation.
What should you do when you meet an obstruction on your side of the road? Carry on as you have priority. Give way to oncoming traffic. Wave oncoming vehicles through. Accelerate to get past first.
Take care if you have to pass a parked vehicle on your side of the road. Give way to oncoming traffic if there isn't enough room for you both to continue safely.
You're reversing your vehicle into a side road. When would the greatest hazard to passing traffic occur? After you've completed the manoeuvre. Just before you actually begin to manoeuvre. After you've entered the side road. When the front of your vehicle swings out.
Always check in all directions before reversing into a side road. Keep a good lookout throughout the manoeuvre. Act on what you see and wait if necessary.
When may you cross a double solid white line in the middle of the road? To pass traffic that's queuing back at a junction. To pass a car signalling to turn left ahead. To pass a road maintenance vehicle travelling at 10 miles per hour or less. To pass a vehicle that's towing a trailer.
You may cross the solid white line to pass a stationary vehicle or to pass a pedal cycle, horse, or road maintenance vehicle if it's travelling at 10 miles per hour or less. You may also cross the solid white line to enter a side road or access a property.
Which of these should you allow extra room when overtaking? Lorry, tractor, bicycle, road sweeping vehicle.
Don't pass cyclists too closely, as they may need to veer around a pothole or other obstacle, be buffeted by side wind, be made unsteady by your vehicle. Always leave as much room as you would for a car, and don't cut in front of them.
Who's responsible for paying the vehicle tax? The driver of the vehicle, the registered keeper of the vehicle, the car dealer, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency, DVLA.
The registered keeper of the vehicle is responsible for paying the vehicle tax or making a statutory off-road notification, SORN, if the vehicle is to be kept untaxed and off the road.
Who's responsible for making sure that a vehicle isn't overloaded? The driver of the vehicle. The owner of the items being carried. The person who loaded the vehicle. The licensing authority.
Carrying heavy loads will affect control and the vehicle's handling characteristics. If the vehicle you're driving is overloaded, you'll be held responsible.
You're on a dual carriageway. Ahead, you see a vehicle with an amber flashing light. What could this be? An ambulance, a fire engine, a doctor on call, a disabled person's vehicle.
An amber flashing light on a vehicle indicates that it's slow moving. Battery-powered vehicles used by disabled people are limited to 8 miles per hour. It isn't advisable for them to be used on dual carriageways where the speed limit exceeds 50 miles per hour. If they are, then an amber flashing light must be used.
You're invited to a pub lunch. You know that you'll have to drive in the evening. What's your best course of action? Avoid mixing your alcoholic drinks. Don't drink any alcohol at all. Have some milk before drinking alcohol. Eat a hot meal with your alcoholic drinks.
Alcohol will stay in your body for several hours and may make you unfit to drive later in the day. Drinking during the day will also affect your performance at work or study.
What must a driver do at a pelican crossing when the amber light is flashing? Signal the pedestrian to cross. Always wait for the green light before proceeding. Give way to any pedestrians on the crossing. Wait for the red and amber light before proceeding.
The flashing amber light allows pedestrians already on the crossing to get to the other side before a green light shows to the traffic. Be aware that some pedestrians, such as elderly people and young children, need longer to cross. Let them do this at their own pace.
Turning the steering wheel while stationary can cause damage to which part of your car? Gearbox, engine, brakes, tyres.
Turning the steering wheel when the car isn't moving is known as dry steering. It can cause unnecessary wear to the tyres and steering mechanism.
You're on a motorway. A red cross is displayed above the hard shoulder. What does this mean? Pull up in this lane to answer your mobile phone. Use this lane as a running lane. This lane can be used if you need a rest. You shouldn't travel in this lane.
Active traffic management operates on some motorways. Within these areas, at certain times, the hard shoulder will be used as a running lane. A red cross above the hard shoulder shows that this lane should only be used for emergencies and breakdowns.
Which shape is used for a give way sign?
Other warning signs are the same shape and colour, but the give way triangle points downwards. When you see this sign, you must give way to traffic on the road that you're about to enter.
You're turning right onto a dual carriageway. What should you do before emerging? Stop, apply the handbrake and then select a low gear. Position your vehicle well to the left of the side road. Check that the central reservation is wide enough for your vehicle. Make sure that you leave enough room for a vehicle behind.
Before emerging right onto a dual carriageway, make sure that the central reservation is deep enough to protect your vehicle. If it isn't, you should treat the dual carriageway as one road and check that it's clear in both directions before pulling out. Neglecting to do this could place part or all of your vehicle in the path of approaching traffic and cause a collision.
The dual carriageway you're turning right onto has a very narrow central reservation. What should you do? Proceed to the central reservation and wait. Wait until the road is clear in both directions. Stop in the first lane so that other vehicles give way. Emerge slightly to show your intentions.
When the central reservation is narrow, you should treat a dual carriageway as one road. Wait until the road is clear in both directions before emerging to turn right. If you try to treat it as two separate roads and wait in the middle, you're likely to cause an obstruction and possibly a collision.
What style of driving causes increased risk to everyone? Considerate, defensive, competitive, responsible.
Competitive driving increases the risks to everyone and is the opposite of responsible, considerate, and defensive driving. Defensive driving is about questioning the actions of other road users and being prepared for the unexpected. Don't be taken by surprise.
You're towing a trailer on a motorway. What's the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on this road? 40 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour.
Don't forget that you're towing a trailer. If you're towing a small, light trailer, it won't reduce your vehicle's performance by very much. However, strong winds or buffeting from large vehicles might cause the trailer to snake from side to side. Be aware of your speed and don't exceed the reduced speed limit imposed on vehicles towing trailers.
You're about to overtake a slow-moving motorcyclist. Which one of these signs would make you take special care?
In windy weather, watch out for motorcyclists and also cyclists, as they can be blown sideways into your path. When you pass them, leave plenty of room and check their position in your mirror before pulling back in.
Which instrument panel warning light would show that headlights are on full beam?
You should be aware of all the warning lights and visual aids on the vehicle you're driving. If you're driving a vehicle for the first time, you should familiarize yourself with all the controls, warning lights, and visual aids before you set off.
What's the main benefit of driving a four-wheel drive vehicle? Improved grip on the road. Lower fuel consumption. Shorter stopping distances. Improved passenger comfort.
By driving all four wheels, the vehicle has maximum grip on the road. This grip is especially helpful when travelling on slippery or uneven surfaces. However, having four-wheel drive doesn't replace the skills you need to drive safely.
What's the purpose of these road markings? To ensure children can see and be seen when crossing the road. To enable teachers to have clear access to the school. To ensure delivery vehicles have easy access to the school. To enable parents to pick up or drop off children safely.
These markings are found on the road outside schools. Don't stop or park on them, even to set down or pick up children. The markings are there to ensure that drivers, riders, children and other pedestrians have a clear view of the road in all directions.
You're in collision with another moving vehicle. Someone is injured and your vehicle is damaged. What information should you find out? Whether the other driver is licensed to drive, the other driver's name, address and telephone number, the destination of the other driver, the occupation of the other driver.
Try to keep calm and don't rush. Make sure that you've shared all the relevant details with the other driver before you leave the scene. If possible, take pictures and note the positions of all the vehicles involved.
You're travelling along a motorway and feel tired. Where should you stop to rest? On the hard shoulder. At the nearest service area. On a slip road. On the central reservation.
If you feel tired, stop at the nearest service area. If that's too far away, leave the motorway at the next exit and find a safe place to stop. You mustn't stop on the carriageway or hard shoulder of a motorway except in an emergency, when in a traffic queue, or when signalled to do so by a police officer, a traffic officer, or traffic signals. Plan your journey so that you have regular rest stops.
Why can it be an advantage for traffic speed to stay constant over a longer distance? You'll do more stop-start driving. You'll use far more fuel. You'll be able to use more direct routes. Your overall journey time will normally improve.
When traffic travels at a constant speed over a longer distance, journey times normally improve. You may feel that you could travel faster for short periods, but this generally leads to bunching and increased overall journey time.
You've stopped at an incident to give help. What should you do? Keep injured people warm and comfortable. Give injured people something to eat. Keep injured people on the move by walking them around. Give injured people a warm drink.
There are a number of things you can do to help, even without expert training. Be aware of further danger from other traffic and fire. Make sure the area is safe. People may be in shock. Don't give them anything to eat or drink. Keep them warm and comfortable and reassure them. Don't move injured people unless there's a risk of further danger.
You're driving behind a large goods vehicle. What should you do if it signals left but steers to the right? Slow down and let the vehicle turn. Drive on, keeping to the left. Overtake on the right of it. Hold your speed and sound your horn.
Large, long vehicles need extra room when making turns at junctions. They may move out to the right in order to make a left turn. Keep well back and don't attempt to pass them on their left.
What does this motorway sign mean? Temporary minimum speed 50 miles per hour. No services for 50 miles. Obstruction 50 metres, 164 feet, ahead. Temporary maximum speed 50 miles per hour.
Look out for signs above your lane or on the central reservation. These will give you important information or warnings about the road ahead. To allow for the high speed of motorway traffic, these signs may light up some distance from any hazard. Don't ignore the signs just because the road looks clear to you.
You're travelling along this narrow country road. How should you pass the cyclist? Sound your horn as you pass. Keep close to them as you pass. Leave them plenty of room as you pass. Change down one gear before you pass.
Allow the cyclist plenty of room in case they wobble or swerve around a pothole or raised drain. Look well ahead before you start to overtake, because you'll need to use all of the road. Look for entrances to fields where tractors or other farm machinery could be waiting to pull out.
What's the shortest overall stopping distance on a dry road at 60 miles per hour? 53 metres, 175 feet. 58 metres, 190 feet. 73 metres, 240 feet. 96 metres, 315 feet.
This distance is the equivalent of 18 car lengths. Try pacing out 73 metres and then look back. It's probably further than you think.
You're approaching a junction where the traffic lights aren't working. What should you do when a police officer gives this signal? Turn left only. Turn right only. Continue ahead only. Stop at the stop line.
When a police officer or traffic warden is directing traffic, you must obey them. They'll use the arm signals shown in the highway code. Learn what these signals mean and obey them.
You're driving on a well-lit motorway on a clear night. What must you do? Use only your side lights. Use your headlights. Use rear fog lights. Use front fog lights.
If you're driving on a motorway at night or in poor visibility, you must always use your headlights, even if the road is well lit. Other road users must be able to see you, but you should avoid causing dazzle.
What's the national speed limit for cars and motorcycles on a dual carriageway? 30 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour.
Make sure that you know the speed limit for the road that you're on. The speed limit on a dual carriageway or motorway is 70 miles per hour for cars and motorcycles, unless signs indicate otherwise. The speed limits for different types of vehicle are listed in the Highway Code.
When may you wait in a box junction? When you're stationary in a queue of traffic. When approaching a pelican crossing. When approaching a zebra crossing. When oncoming traffic prevents you turning right.
The purpose of a box junction is to keep the junction clear by preventing vehicles from stopping in the path of crossing traffic. You mustn't enter a box junction unless your exit is clear. However, you may enter the box and wait if you want to turn right and are only prevented from doing so by oncoming traffic.
What should the driver of the car approaching the crossing do? Continue at the same speed. Sound the horn. Drive through quickly. Slow down and get ready to stop.
Look well ahead to see whether any hazards are developing. This will give you more time to deal with them in the correct way. The man in the picture is clearly intending to cross the road. You should be travelling at a speed that allows you to check your mirror, slow down, and stop in good time. You shouldn't have to brake harshly.
You're on the motorway. Luggage falls from your vehicle. What should you do? Stop at the next emergency telephone and contact the police. Stop on the motorway and switch on hazard warning lights while you pick it up. Walk back up the motorway to pick it up. Pull up on the hard shoulder and wave traffic down.
If any object falls onto the motorway carriageway from your vehicle, pull onto the hard shoulder near an emergency telephone and call for assistance. Don't stop on the carriageway or attempt to retrieve anything.
How should you overtake horse riders? Drive up close and overtake as soon as possible. Speed isn't important, but allow plenty of room. Use your horn just once to warn them. Drive slowly and leave plenty of room.
When you decide to overtake a horse rider, make sure you can do so safely before you move out. Leave them plenty of room and pass slowly. Passing too closely at speed could startle a horse and unseat the rider.
What can people who live or work in towns and cities do to help reduce urban pollution levels? Drive more quickly. Over-rev in a low gear. Walk or cycle. Drive short journeys.
Using a vehicle for short journeys means the engine doesn't have time to reach its normal operating temperature. When an engine is running below its normal operating temperature, it produces increased amounts of pollution. Walking and cycling don't create pollution and have health benefits as well.
You're driving a vehicle that has anti-lock brakes. How should you apply the foot brake when you need to stop in an emergency? Slowly and gently. Slowly but firmly. Rapidly and gently. Rapidly and firmly.
You may have to stop in an emergency due to a misjudgment by another driver or a hazard arising suddenly, such as a child running out into the road. If your vehicle has anti-lock brakes, you should apply the brakes immediately and keep them firmly applied until you stop.
Which of the following types of glasses shouldn't be worn when driving at night? Half moon. Round. Bifocal. Tinted.
If you're driving at night or in poor visibility, tinted lenses will reduce the efficiency of your vision by reducing the amount of light reaching your eyes.
You're on a good dry road surface. Your brakes and tyres are good. What's the typical overall stopping distance at 40 miles per hour? 23 metres, 75 feet, 36 metres, 118 feet, 53 metres, 175 feet, 96 metres, 315 feet.
Stopping distances are affected by a number of variables. These include the type, model and condition of your vehicle, the road and weather conditions, and your reaction time. Look well ahead for hazards and leave enough space between you and the vehicle in front. This should allow you to pull up safely if you have to, without braking sharply.
You wish to turn right ahead. Why should you take up the correct position in good time? To allow other drivers out in front of you. To give a better view into the road that you're joining. To help other road users know what you intend to do. To allow drivers to pass you on the right.
If you wish to turn right into a side road, take up your position in good time. Move to the centre of the road when it's safe to do so. This will allow vehicles to pass you on the left. Early planning will show other traffic what you intend to do.
You want to put a rear-facing baby seat on the front passenger seat, which is protected by a frontal airbag. What must you do before setting off? Deactivate the airbag. Turn the seat to face sideways. Ask a passenger to hold the baby. Put the child in an adult seatbelt.
It's illegal to fit a rear-facing baby seat into a passenger seat protected by an active frontal airbag. If the airbag activates, it could cause serious injury or even death to the child. You must secure it in a different seat or deactivate the relevant airbag. Follow the manufacturer's advice when fitting a baby seat.
How can you reduce the damage your vehicle causes to the environment? Use narrow side streets. Brake heavily. Use busy routes. Anticipate well ahead.
By looking well ahead and recognizing hazards in good time, you can avoid late and heavy braking. Watch the traffic flow and look well ahead for potential hazards so you can control your speed in good time. Avoid over-revving the engine and accelerating harshly, as this increases wear to the engine and uses more fuel.
What should you do when following a car driven by an elderly driver? Expect the driver to drive badly. Flash your lights and overtake. Be aware that their reactions may be slower than yours. Stay very close behind, but be careful.
You must show consideration to other road users. The reactions of older drivers may be slower, and they might need more time to deal with a situation. Be tolerant, and don't lose patience or show annoyance.
What could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? Drive in a bus lane. Use a car with a smaller engine. Walk or cycle on short journeys. Travel by car at all times.
Try not to use your car as a matter of routine. For shorter journeys, consider walking or cycling instead. This is much better for both you and the environment.
What does this sign mean? End of dual carriageway. Tall bridge. Road narrows. End of narrow bridge.
Don't wait until the last moment before moving into the left-hand lane. Plan ahead, and don't rely on other traffic letting you in.
What should the driver of the grey car arrowed be especially aware of? The uneven road surface. Traffic following behind. Doors opening on parked cars. Empty parking spaces.
When passing parked cars, there's a risk that a driver or passenger may not check before opening the door into the road. A defensive driver will drive slowly and be looking for people who may be about to get out of their car.
What does this sign mean? Bus station on the right. Contraflow bus lane. Withflow bus lane. Give way to buses.
There will also be markings on the road surface to indicate the bus lane. You mustn't use this lane for parking or overtaking.
You're driving in town. Ahead of you, a bus is at a bus stop. Which of the following should you do? Flash your lights to warn the driver of your presence. Continue at the same speed, but sound your horn as a warning. Watch carefully for the sudden appearance of pedestrians. Pass the bus as quickly as you possibly can.
As you approach, look out for any signal the driver might make. If you pass the vehicle, watch out for pedestrians attempting to cross the road from behind the bus. They'll be hidden from view until the last moment.
You've just passed your test. How can you reduce your risk of being involved in a collision? By always staying close to the vehicle in front. By never going over 40 miles per hour. By staying in the left-hand lane on all roads. By taking further training.
New drivers and riders are often involved in a collision or incident early in their driving career. Due to a lack of experience, they may not react to hazards appropriately. Approved training courses are offered by driver and rider training schools for people who have passed their test but want extra training.